Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is another Dark Souls PvP series. This time it's entitled Humanity, or Human Form Has Risks, or something along those lines. The risks of being in human form. And as you'll be able to tell from the screen, this is low-level PvP. And I am using a level 11 build on this first bit of gameplay. But I do have some overpowered weapons, and I changed that a couple of invasions in, because I've got to say, guys, this series right now is, I don't know how it's going to be received, because there's a lot of cognitive dissonance from me with this. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in Dark Souls, by far. And I don't mean that from a difficulty perspective, I mean that from the perspective of, when you low-level invade, you get a majority of people. You get people who have just got the game, the newest of the new people. You get people who have really good gear early on, who are doing something known as tweaking, which is, you know, carrying elemental weapons and armor they should not have, and all hosts of different things like that. You have people who are in New Game Plus that are very high level, because as you know, when you do invade upwards, and it's infinite. You get a lot of co-opers, you get a lot of gankers, you get quite a lot of hackers and modders and things like that, so you get a big wealth of content and different people. And I don't mind fighting any of them except from the first one. The others, I don't mind, I don't feel anything for, but the first one I do, and it makes it tough. It makes it real tough, and you might be thinking, well, why do it, you know? A lot of people will view it as bullying, as beating up or griefing, you know, new players and things like that. And that's not the intention of this series. I didn't even think to do this until the other day, and what happened was, when I pressed invade on my cracked orb, I invaded the next second. And it was like that for about 6 hours. And I've never had that, guys, before. I've never had that anywhere in the game. I've never experienced it, and it was awesome. It was such a great feeling, and it made me think that this was what Dark Souls was like in the beginning. And, oh, this is bad. Pretty bad. Good stuff, I love it. And I never had that, and the last few days when I've tried to get some content for various different series, I've not been getting any invasions. I've been getting failed to invade. I've been doing level 100, level 125, 120. I've even gone down to level 70, and I haven't got anything yet. I tried this level, and I got so much traffic, and it appears like people don't understand that human form has risks. Because the game, Dark Souls, is a very obscure and, you know, hidden game that has to be figured out. And if it wasn't for the forums and the wikis, I don't think many people would have it figured out. But if you don't visit those mediums, you don't know. So the majority of people that I'm coming across, when it is the first kind of player I mentioned, the newer player, are people who do not know what human form does, or people looking to co-op, or people who are just used to not getting invaded at such an early stage of the game. And it makes it really interesting, because like I said, there is so much traffic in the Burg, in the parish, in Blighttown, in the depths, you know, in all the early areas. And I think I'm gonna get like a level 40 character to Sense Fortress and the start of Anor Londo, because I reckon people are going to be there, and if they aren't, the higher level people are going to be there, so I'm going to obviously get a nice vast range of levels. And this one here, I don't really know who these guys are. I don't know what like level this is. One thing I did notice though is I invaded so much in this area that I got my humanity up to 99 really quickly. And when you have 99 humanity, your defense boost is not great, but in early game, it's kind of insane, and I was really tempted to kill myself so I could get rid of it. But you'll also notice I have 5 million souls, and those souls are there so that I can level this guy up to 120 and create the build that this guy's supposed to be. And the build he's supposed to be is a Dragonbone Fist Force kind of magey guys. I've called him the Fist of Wrath, And I'll probably have a stack of Wrath just in case I want to use it, but the intention was to have Force and use Force to set up the Shoryuken, the awesome uppercut of this weapon, which is very difficult to land. And I was just going to, you know, power level him. Just power level him immediately up to the level, get to Anor Londo, do some Anor Londo invasions, the type of stuff I do whenever I'm on Dark Souls, but I just had this idea to try lower level invasions because it's something I've never done. And the traffic is amazing. It really is amazing, but it comes at a consequence of, look at these people. Like, I don't know if these are experienced guys, I don't know if they're new guys, I don't know what they are, but their weapons are not powered up. Well, not that powered up, really, because I can take 1,000,000 hits, and my guy is only level 11. His statistics are base, except for his strength, so I could use the Dragonbone Fist. The armour I'm wearing is plus 10, I think, something like that, plus 9, because I know how to level armours up quickly on the game, from a new game, because I've done it so many times, and like my defence, I think, is 173 in brackets and 228 as a standard, so my defence is pretty high for some weapons. So when people hit me, it looks like I'm taking 0 damage, so that's another thing where I was kind of feeling, you know, I'm not taking that much damage, so that takes all the fulfillment out of winning. So for the most, I got into this mindset of having fun and being silly, and you know, just trying to get interesting and funny and silly gameplays. And I shared a couple of them the other night, of the silly gameplays that I got, and the reception seems pretty mixed. A lot of people are not liking them because I assume it's because it's low level and because I'm an experienced player and people don't think it's fair, which I completely understand. But I was looking at them from just a dumb perspective of I'm doing something silly, and you haven't really seen me do that much silly in PvP, and there are a lot of really good channels that focus on silly, you know, like Only Use Me, not Only Use Me, what the fuck am I on about? Only Afro is a guy who does some really funny videos, and is it Red Rosie, the really popular one that quit? That person used to do a lot of funny videos, trolling videos and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to be those people, I don't want to be those people, I just want to have different types of content, and that's the kind of the mentality that I put up here, because, like I say, after a few fights I change my equipment. Every so often I change back to this equipment when I'm taking on, you know, people that are in above 100 levels, you know, certain gankers if I want to try and win the ganks, you know, modders, hackers, that kind of thing. I do change my equipment, but after a while I go back to, I think, plus 5 Cestises, plus 5 Uchigatana, stuff like that, and I don't stack poise. I go very low poise because, you know, stacking poise early on is just, it's silly, really, because these players, especially when you come up against the new guys, when I'm trying to, you know, give them a fight, not go easy on them because I don't want to insult them, but I want to almost share, you know, various aspects of PvP with people. A lot of the times it's a lot of backstabs because new players love backstabs, but, you know, just introduce them to different things. Later on in the session that you're going to see, I put on poison. Poison knives, dung pies, Lloyd's talismans, just to give these people something to think about, something that they're going to experience later on, and see how they respond. And some of them are quite interesting because a lot of people are just going to think, oh, you're picking on new players, you know, why would you do that? It's not about that, guys. It's not. And I'm not pretentious enough to think that, you know, I'm making this profound movement to educate people on Dark Souls, because that's not the point either. All this is this is a game that makes it so when you're in human form, you can be invaded. And you don't know who's invading you, you don't know why they're invading you, you don't know what type of person's invading you. And if anything, they may change it on Dark Souls 2, but as far as Dark Souls goes, that is how the system works. And I kind of became the protector of this bridge, and in some ways you could call me a troll, because, you know, traditionally trolls live under bridges, and I was invading near this bridge, and for a lot of the times on this early footage is against, I assume, North American people, because it was late in the morning in you know, in other countries. So I think the majority of this is Americans and things like that. And one thing I did notice is a lot of the Americans, because it's obviously a bigger place, there's more people, didn't have the Drake Sword. because when I fight people with the Drake Sword, you'll notice that it does a lot more damage than everything else, because the Drake Sword is powerful. When I did this on my time, fighting against probably still Americans and a couple of European people and maybe some more wider area, United Kingdom things, I found a lot of them had the Drake Sword or more powerful equipment. Like this guy here is using 2 Zvais, which... How the hell do you get 2 Zvais this early on? Because there's one in the cemetery, but I don't know where the second one is at all. And you'll notice when he hits me with the Zvais, it doesn't do that much damage. And I do take damage, guys. Like in PvE, I get smashed. My character dies in 3 hits from the skeletons. I don't last long at all. But against some of these weapons, it's crazy. Really crazy. Like this moment here, I'm punching the wall to get the attention of the host, because if you didn't know this, invaders don't make any sound. The only time you make sounds is when like you punch a wall or when you do something specific like that. So I'm trying to make sound to wake this person up, but there's a lot of people that just leave themselves by bonfires in human form, and I assume go and do house things or important things. So it puts me in a position where I don't really want to kill these people, because my main motivation with the new players is to teach them things, you know, to put them into some strange situations, and a lot of the times I'll drop a weapon, I'll drop humanity, I'll drop things like that, and I generally try and do silly things and then lose. The ones in this video are pretty much the early invasions where I was just coming in to mess around, and there's not so much of me dropping stuff, because that comes later on. But this right here, because the person didn't come back, so what I did is I poisoned them with both the throwing knives and with the dung pies, and I played a little jigsaw game where I put both healing items in front of the player, and I waited to see if they'd get back in time, pick up the items, and then heal the poison in a kind of like, you know, dun-dun-dun, 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 and they didn't come back, so yeah, it kind of failed as a game. But I left it in because it was something different and it was something silly, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I wanted to achieve with this. But here we've got player co-oping, and that guy there is in full, I think that's elite knight armor, which tells you that full elite knight armor gives him, what is it, 81 poise? It gives people lots of poise, and I'm running low poise, so using a Zweihander is powerful, but not the greatest of ideas. This Zwei, if you're wondering, is +5. But look at these people's weapons. Like, this one might be a new player, because they've got a hollow shield, they're wearing base equipment, they're using a mace, which is a base weapon. This guy, his sword I think is a little bit stronger. I don't know why it's stronger, but it is. He's trying to use something there. Oh, he's using a heal spell. Quite laggy too, but that's Dark Souls, baby. That's how it works. And the new players, it's perfectly forgivable that they're using this kind of equipment, because this is the beginning of the game, and they shouldn't have ridiculous equipment on your first time through, because that's what makes Dark Souls so fun. But I fought against people who are at least experienced. Like this guy looks a little bit more experienced, I would say. He's taunting, he's doing the, you know, well, what is it taunt, so he knows how to do that, which I don't think the host does. Like, this is another one with standard equipment, hollow shield, pyromancer starting gear, and an Uchi, so they've killed the merchant, or they've gone into Blighttown, which tells you a few things about the player in general. They might be quite knowledgeable, or they might have just done it by accident. Oh gosh, this suddenly got more interesting. So there's a giant Black Knight up here, and I move away to let the person fight the knight, but then I think, I want to get silly footage, so I come back up. And I've got a video of me doing this exact thing, but I block the stairs for a guy. And a lot of people look at it as ganking and all sorts of negative shit. So I blocked the path to force the player to fight a big nasty knight. Like, I did nothing. There's no gank there. I thought it was hilarious. That person quit when they realised that I had quite a lot of life, which is understandable, you know? This guy's got his Drake Sword. It's this is people that have probably never been invaded. And they don't really know what it is. But did you see that then when he hit me with the Drake sword? It wasn't as much as the guy who hit me with the Astora's straight sword, but it was still a lot. And one thing I really like about this low level stuff is the fights last long. Like when you're using, because later on in the series I go to unupgraded weapons. When you see me using a scimitar or a scimitar and an uchi, I think both of those are unupgraded. And those fights are really fun because your weapons don't do any damage. And that guy fought a really good fight. I got really lucky with my jab because my jab is super fast. And he sent me a message. He said, good fight. So I sent him one back saying likewise. That was an awesome moment. This is some co-opers probably going for the Drake sword. Base equipment again. His buddy comes along. I'm probably going to fall off here. This looks really crazy. Oh no, he's going to fall off. Oh, poor guy. Am I going off? That's a Demon Souls backstab right there. Oh, goes for the kick. So the player knows how to kick, not a dumb player. Doing the kicks, using the heater shield. I think at this point though I've still got like a plus 14 cestus. Because it's one of those things where I'm really good at running down into New Londo, shooting Ingram, and then going past the Dark Wraiths and getting the Embers. Because that stuff's, once you've played this game quite a lot, you can do that. You can kill the Capra Demon, you can go down and get your first Ember, you can then do New Londo, get your second Ember, and you can be level 1, not even ring a single bell, and get plus 14 equipment quite easily. Farming the Dark Wraiths can take a while, but once you know how to do it, and if you get the Hornet's Ring, and you get something like a Rapier and upgrade that a little bit, they go down real quick. It's not tough to do. But I should really talk about twinks, because a lot of people are probably going to think that this is twinking, because my character has got weapons that I've upgraded. I personally don't think it is, but it's fine if you do. Twinking to me is something you're going to see later on, because I get invaded myself while I'm invading. And I get invaded by a guy wearing full Dark Wraith armor, and using a I think it's a lightning Dark Wraith sword. Oh no, it's not a Dark Wraith sword, sorry, it's a lightning battle axe. Which, lightning battle axes are pretty damn powerful. But he's level 1. And I don't really understand that myself, personally. Because, I mean, this, like I've said, moments of this I found really uncomfortable to play. Just because they were new players. And beating up new players is not fun. Which is why, I didn't come down here with elemental weapons. I didn't come down here stacking poise. I didn't want to do that type of stuff. Because I just wanted to get the PvP. And I've never done this before. So it's something new to the channel. And it's also an opportunity to not necessarily roleplay, but to do stuff you don't see me doing. The silly stuff, the more merciless stuff, the more Dark Wraith stuff, essentially. Because some people left comments calling me a Dick Wraith, which is hilarious, because when you think about it, a Dark Wraith's job is to be a dick. So if anything, they should have called me a Daisy Wraith, because when I usually invade, I do so under my own, my own standards, my own principles of I adhere to certain situational things, and not a lot of people do. Some do, some don't care. Whereas with this playthrough, I wasn't really doing that. You notice I'm not bowing, I'm not doing all the honor stuff. I'm only healing when I want to either finish a fight or in a gank, or when something fun is happening and I want to keep the duel going. I'm not really attacking them when they heal at first, but then I start doing it. It all depends on the person I'm invading. Somebody said that is a douche taunt. I only picked that because I've never done it, ever, and I was pointing to the dragon, and that guy got upset. He said, fuck you, buddy. So I said human form has risks, and that is kind of the moral of this series. Going in these worlds to these people that don't understand the invasion system, and showing them that it comes at a cost. And getting burnt by the dragon a lot. The amount of times I have spawned on this bridge and been killed by the dragon is horrific. that thing will one-shot you during the animation where you should be invincible. I don't understand it. I point to him anyway because he's my buddy. Even if he kills me a lot, he's still my buddy. And then here is a... I assume New Game Plus. New Game Plus or experienced players, because they could have killed Solaire and gone down into the catacombs, joined the Covenant of the Gravelord, and got the sword. Unlikely, but they could have. So I'm throwing some shit at him, because I'm a nice person like that. He's doing the spell, the Gravelord's sword dance. He's doing it again. And he catches me with it, but it doesn't do too much damage. And he's poisoned, so he's probably going to go over there and heal. I put on my good old Mazvai, because I was messing around with it at this moment. Going for the backstab, miss my backstab. Do a couple of quick cheeky swings. He goes for the poke, which I love that poke. And then I hit him with 228 damage. So, this might be a new player, an experienced player who's doing something different. And then I get sliced and diced to toggle out of it. Then I try and swing my weapon like a moron one-handed. And then I get sliced down by Gravelord swords. And shrug and come hither motion. So, interesting. But that is how this works. This is weird. That dragon's about to kill me and doing some crazy like gyration. And I take very little damage off the dragon that time for some reason. This is I don't know if it's a new player, but as you can tell, base gear, summoning a phantom, and my adherence to my standards is apparent here. When somebody summons a phantom, no offense to anybody playing, you can summon whatever you want, but when I'm in your world and you summon something, I'm going to try and kill you then. You know, there's not going to be any of the silliness, there's not going to be any of the Lloyd's talismaning and introducing to the concept of different parts of the game. You know, I'm just going to try and kill you. And the camera was awesome at that point, but a couple of things to bear in mind if you're going to do low-level invading. Your stamina is lacking, obviously. You can put points into it, but then you're not going to be all that much low when it comes to low level. I'm using the fat to give me that extra bit of oomph, but this Vi is ridiculous. It takes up some serious stamina to swing, and right now I'm super paranoid of that dragon, because as much as I'm his buddy and I'm guarding his bridge with him, he's killed me a lot. And I think this player hides behind Solaire. Yeah, they do. Which tells you that they're not quite sure how this works. But I also fought somebody the other day that had a catalyst and nothing else. They didn't have a sword or a weapon. And that really confused me, because I thought the sorcerer class started with a dagger and then got the catalyst later, but they had this staff, and all they were doing was they weren't even using spells, they were punching me with the staff. And I'm all for people doing that, because I think it's interesting, but I think I parried it. But the one thing I want to get across here is, this is not me thinking I'm a good player. This is not me thinking this is skillful. This is not me trying to say, yeah, this is badass. This is literally a high traffic area that I've never even touched. And that's what these videos are. And I don't know how much of this I'll continue to record, because as I've mentioned, I don't know if people are going to like this, because I get the feeling that people are just going to think I'm being a dick. And that is not my intention, but I can understand that criticism, because there are fights in this series where I felt like a dick. And I don't know why, because Dark Souls is a game about invading. You know, it's a game about being invaded, and because of all these standards and all these self-imposed restrictions and things, it's kind of turned me into a massive pussy. And I don't know why. Because on Call of Duty, I'm not going to not shoot you with the best gun. I'm going to shoot you with the best gun in almost every situation. I'm going to pick a gun I like, or pick a gun I find's fun, and I'm always going to aim for your chest. I'm always going to aim for your face. You know, Gears of War, I'm going to put the Nasher on, and I'm going to come at you with an active. Because that's what I do on those games. I don't, you know, let you get up after I've put you down into a down state. I execute you. But on this game, I don't. And I don't know why. But this is something a little different that might rub a few people the wrong way. If you don't like it, you know, it's not going to be a permanent thing. It's just going to be something different. So thanks for watching. I hope you're a little understanding, and you take care now.